So the big news in gaming this week is that the Elder Scrolls Online has come out with 20 minutes of glorious gameplay footage, not by them actually, by someone who decided to go against their beta regulation and leak the footage onto YouTube. I'm not going to link the leaked footage because I don't want to get in trouble, and also it would probably be taken down by the time you clicked on the link anyways, but if you search hard enough on the internet, you can probably find it. So basically the reason I'm making this video is to try to combat some of the untruthful myths that have been surfacing because of this video, and also to shed some light on which of those myths do have a little bit of truth to them and which are just complete bullcrap. I'm here to tell you that this video is not a very good representation of what the game is going to be like. This game is still going to be an Elder Scrolls game, just like they've been promising us. Now, the reason these myths have been coming out is because most people who have been posting about this are very misinformed, and they haven't been following the game long enough to know why what they're saying is just retarded. Is that when the guy was dropped into the game, there was no tutorial sequence, there was no kind of intro to the game, it just kind of plopped you in, whereas most people would expect that there was some kind of beginning thing that drops you into the story. Now, the reason for this is because this is a test, as in they were testing this part of the game. It's not actually where you're going to start when you start the game. They've told us that when you start the game, you're actually going to start in Cold Harbor, which is Molag Ball's Plane of Oblivion. You're going to start as a prisoner there. I'm not going to go into too much detail there because I don't want to have any spoilers, but when this guy started, it started him off right at the Daggerfall place, this Daggerfall starting area, which is basically if you're in the Daggerfall government, after you do the whole thing in Cold Harbor, you're plopped into your Daggerfall continent, and it actually showed another myth we have been hearing from the game, is that people have been complaining about all the nameplates that were showing up on everybody's head, and they're like, oh, that's not lore friendly, that's not Elder Scrolls, that looks dumb. Now, the reason that there were all these nameplates is because if you look carefully, if you watch the video, at the very beginning, he changes the options to show the nameplates, because I'm guessing he was more of an MMO player instead of an Elder Scrolls player, so he wants the nameplates. So that's an option, and there's nothing wrong with options. I mean, if you're going to get mad over options, then you should just go away, because you're just mean to the people, because there are some people that would like those nameplates, so I'm glad that they have them for those people. Now, another thing people have been complaining about a lot is that they say that there's not much content density, as in there's not much stuff around. There's maybe like a few people, and then there's just mobs. And what people don't like about a lot of MMOs is that it's like that, where there's a little town of people, and then there's just plains with a few mobs walking around. But the thing is, what you need to realize is that the area where he was playing in is a desert. You remember deserts? You know what deserts are like? They're barren. They don't have much stuff in them. That's just what a desert is like. And he was in a desert, and that's why, as in would be in real life, there's not much stuff around. And this is just one area. They've told us that there's going to be areas of high density content, and there's going to be areas of low density content. And obviously, because this is a desert, they made it lower density content. Once you start to go into the game more, there'll start to be more content, and it will start to be more like more Elder Scrolls-ish. You obviously didn't see much of this in Skyrim because there wasn't really that many deserts. The only thing I can think of that was like this in Skyrim would be the area around Whiterun, like the plains, where there was like just a few giants running around, and you didn't really see all that much stuff. It was kind of like that. And remember, we had that in Skyrim too, so it's not like this is completely new. So another thing a lot of people have been complaining about is that the combat looks boring and unbalanced, supposedly. Now, the reason for that is because, plain and simple, this is a test, like a beta test, an early beta test. So this isn't actually what the game is going to be like when you start off. And what I mean by that is he opened up his skills menus, and you could plainly see that there were 3 abilities that should be available at level 1, but they were grayed out, as in, so he couldn't use them. So, and the reason I'm guessing for this is because, for whatever reason, ZeniMax did not think these abilities were ready yet for testing, so they did not make them available to the beta testers. However, they will be available to the people who are playing the game when the game is actually launched. Because this is, again, early beta, so this is all subject to change. So the abilities will be available for you when you start off. So because he didn't have any abilities, all he had was his basic attack, which would be basically like a World of Warcraft like warlock, just only having his wand to use and not being able to use anything else. And obviously you won't be able to do that much damage, so that's why the combat looked really boring and really hard, because he couldn't use any of his abilities. Alright, so while there were plenty of like untrue rumors that have been coming from this video, there are unfortunately some rumors with a bit of truth to them. The first one is about the graphics. Now, the graphics, to be honest, I don't think they're that bad. I mean, for an MMO, they still look pretty good, in my opinion. I think people have kind of been setting their expectations a little bit too high, based on mainly because people have been saying things like the graphics look better than Skyrim, all that stuff. And who knows, they might still look better than Skyrim. It's just, we can't tell very much from a online video how the graphics are going to look. But what I would like to say about this is that I did, what people have been saying to counteract this is that, oh, the guy must be on a lower quality PC and the graphic settings must be down, because based on the gameplay we've seen ZeniMax release, the graphics shown in the video don't compare, so he must just be on a lower quality PC. Now, I did think that too at first, but I actually looked at the video closely, and luckily he did, for like a second at the very beginning of the video, open his graphics menu, and it showed what his settings were on for graphics. It wasn't at, now I'm actually not sure if it was full or not, because basically it had the texture resolution, and then it had like shadow quality and all the other stuff that you never really notice. It had all those stuff were on ultra, and then the texture quality was on high. So for all I know, the texture quality might only have 3 settings, and high would be the best. But more likely, I'm guessing that there's also ultra, so that means he was on a pretty high setting, but you can still get higher than that. And maybe that's a huge jump, and it starts to look a lot better after that. Also, there was more options, which he didn't scroll down, so I could see that, so I'm not sure what all of his options were. But the main one I would note is the texture quality, because that's usually the one that's most noticeable. So yeah, so that was on high, it probably could have gone up to ultra, so it probably is still going to be a bit better for those of you with really good PCs. But other than that, but still, this is still a video, so don't freak out, because it's really hard to tell the graphics quality from a video. And again, I'm not really sure what you guys are all complaining about, because I think it looks awesome myself. They look much better than any MMO we've seen so far, so I mean, I think they did a good job with the graphics. I mean, they said if you're pissed off that they went with a stylized look instead of going as gritty as Skyrim, I mean, they've said that they're going with a stylized look, so it's not like that was a surprise. And I mean, any MMO, you gotta go with a stylized look, just because of how long MMOs last, and the fact that stylized graphics tend to stand the test of time much longer. I mean, if you look back at the Elder Scrolls games, if you go back to stylized games from like 2000, you go to realistic games from 2000, the realistic games look a lot older, just because stylized graphics age better. That's just a fact. Another myth with a little bit of truth to it is the animations. Now, the people have been saying stuff like the animations look wobbly and stuff like that. Personally, I didn't really see much problem with the actual animations. Like for example, people said the running animation looked wobbly. I mean, it didn't look that impressive. I mean, it definitely needs some work, but it's still early beta, so they'll probably put some work in. Hopefully the beta testers will tell them that the running animation looks a little weird, and they'll fix that. I mean, because it doesn't seem like it's that hard to fix. It's just a simple animation. The main problem I saw was that when he was in combat, when they were swinging their weapons and stuff, and I'm not really sure, this doesn't really completely fall under the category of animations, but I thought I'd mention it. It kind of to go with the myth, but it because people have been mentioning this along with the animations, is that when people do their weapon swing animations, like the melee combat, there's nothing wrong with the ranged combat, but the melee combat, when they swing their weapons and stuff, it doesn't really look like the weapons are hitting the people. It it seems like the melee range is quite a bit too much. Like a guy could swing his two-handed axe and it would not hit the guy at all, and he would be like 5 feet away from the guy, like legitimately, like really far away from the guy, and it would still hit him. Now, for all I know, it could have been a ranged ability that just looked like a swing, but it seemed like all of the hits were able to hit him from like at least like 5 feet away. Now, hopefully, again, this doesn't seem like it's that hard of a problem to fix. All you have to do is lower the melee fighting distance. Hopefully, again, the beta testers will tell them that, and they'll fix that by the time the game comes out. So that's good. We also saw some emotions, like emoticons, like wave and lie down and sit and stuff. That looks fine. I don't really have any. I don't think anyone's really complained about that. I just thought I'd mention it so you guys do know that there is going to be a lot of that in the game. We only saw 3 in the video, but they've said before that they're going to have lots and lots of emotion things. So that's good. Alright, I think that just about wraps it up. Believe it or not, this is actually my very first ever video game news video that I've ever done in my life. So I know that comes as a complete shock to you, because this video is like incredible and that you're so impressed and that my voice sounds sexy and stuff, but this is actually my very first video. So if you think I did a good job and you want me to keep making these videos, then be sure to like and share this video, and also because it raises my self-esteem, which I need, because I have very, very, very low self-esteem, even though I know deep down that I am awesome. Alright, so I'll see you next time.
The Imperial throne sits empty. The dragonfire's cold, unlit, and from every corner, darkness grows. Now, ancient enemies band together. Unlikely alliances are forged. Old ambitions rekindle. And as enemies rise faster than allies, salvation cannot come from one hero alone.